We're all taught that you should never judge a book by its cover. But, friends, this is the internet. And when you mix the internet with Sonic the Hedgehog, there's definitely a whole lot of judgment that gets dished out. So in tune with that, we present to you today our list of the top 10 ugliest Sonic characters. And yeah, it gets a little mean. You've been warned. And at number 10, Big the Cat. I personally feel a little bad for Big the Cat. Yeah, he's a pointless character. Yeah, he's completely annoying in Sonic Adventure. And yeah, he doesn't really have much going on for him in terms of compelling narratives, voice acting, or much of anything else. He even has really weird ears for a cat. Like, in all honesty, calling him a cat rather than some weird upright purple lynx tiger panda crossbreed is kind of a long shot. His design is pretty clunky too, with that oversized gold belt and Robin Hood-esque gloves. And those eyes, well, it doesn't take an astute individual to see that there's not much going on behind them. Sorry, said it was gonna be mean. And at number 9, your Sonic Forces avatar. Alright, so this may seem a tad harsh. I'm sure there's plenty of you out there who sincerely love Sonic Forces and had a blast creating your own avatar. Some critics have actually noted that the create your own avatar feature of the game is perhaps the best thing Sega has done in years, minus, publishing a game that was developed by their fans, aka Sonic Mania. Anywho, in contrast to all that, let's take a look at some of the options that the avatar feature gave players, and the kinds of avatars that were crafted as a result of that. Yeah, not the prettiest. A bit borderline nightmare fuel if you ask me. And while some of these atrocities were obviously made jokingly, just the fact that the game allows you to do that says a lot. Anyway, I'll leave you with this unfortunate montage of hideous Sonic avatars. Up next, number 8, ESPIO the Chameleon. Some fans may be disappointed for seeing ESPIO on this list, considering he's a fairly likable character. But let's take a second to look at ESPIO side by side with a real-life chameleon. Sure, they got the tail right, but if you're going to take inspiration from a horned chameleon, at least get the number of horns right. While that may seem finicky, from a design perspective, he just looks edgy. And if there's anything we've learned from Sonic characters who have been designed to look edgy, it's that they're more cringe than anything. There's a reason why ESPIO doesn't really make a ton of appearances in this series anymore, friends. And at number 7, Ugly NAUGUS. In the Sonic comics, there is literally a character with the name Ugly. Ugly NAUGUS. I think that's evidence enough. And at number 6, Jet the Hawk. Personally, I find Jet the Hawk excruciating. This could partially be because he's in a racing game where he believes he's the fastest Extreme Gear rider, and that he's faster than Sonic, who quite frankly, if he just got off his Extreme Gear, would be just as fast as he normally is anyway. Yay for redundant games. Jet's design is pretty much as mundane as he is, except it has a certain please think I'm cool flair, which when mixed with his personality just doesn't bode well. And at number 5, Wave the Swallow. Wave doesn't make this list for having an aesthetically unappealing face. Aside from the excessive eyelashes, she's arguably one of the more appealing bird character designs. But her design is also her downfall, specifically her outfit design. When she first appeared in Sonic Riders in 2006, you could argue that her outfit was still mildly relevant. But oh boy, has it not aged well. Flared pants with pink flames at the bottom, her white tube top and a headscarf? Yeah, it's painfully from another time that nobody wants to revisit. And at number 4, Storm the Albatross. While Wave's design problem was her clothes, Storm's is unfortunately his everything. For starters, let's take a look at what albatrosses actually look like. Alright, now back to Storm. Sure, I get that the Babylon robes needed muscle, but come on. Storm looks like he was inflated and then stretched out. And his goggle accessories on top of his head are laughably small. To make things worse, he suffers from Big the Cat syndrome, meaning he's got a big dumb personality. At least you could sympathize a bit with Big. Most of Storm's mistakes in Sonic Riders' narrative are sloppy and irritating rather than endearing, which tends to be the motivation behind most of what Big does. And at number 3, Zaz. Zaz was part of an interesting concept that was poorly executed, like most things Sega does. From Sonic Lost World, Zaz is part of a group called the Deadly Six, which in theory should have been wickedly terrifying foes for Sonic and his pals to take on. Instead, they were just kind of goofy and bland. Zaz in particular had long, boring monologues, combined with behavior that can best be described as the Energizer Bunny on crack. It was pretty cringe. So it makes perfect sense that his aesthetic is matching of that cringe, right down to his spiked bracelets and choker. So very 2006. Except the game came out in 2013, so... And at number 2, Dr. Robotnik. Robotnik is by far one of the less aesthetically pleasing characters in the Sonic franchise. I mean, it's hard to compete with adorable anthropomorphic animals. Cute hedgehog versus dude with a crazy walrus mustache, an aggressively red nose, and imposingly large upper body? Yeah, not really a contest. Originally, the character was modeled after the 26th American president Theodore Roosevelt, in pajamas, and quite frankly was much more adorable in his earlier incarnation. But as time progressed, the designs of Sonic's characters entered the realm of 3D, and there was a push to make them more realistic, or rather make the human characters more realistic. And in Sonic 06, we were given this rather unfortunate version of Eggman, whose eyeballs really freaked out a lot of people. Since then, we've seen the character return to a closer design to his Sonic Adventure incarnation, but it still doesn't warrant him much in the attractiveness department. Finally, in at number 1, Dark Gaia. So for the most part, we tried to focus on characters on this list rather than one-off villains. But Dark Gaia is perhaps the most hideous thing to ever grace a Sonic game, especially when it transforms, which has also been noted as one of the most terrifying moments in the entire franchise. Pulling inspiration from some horror classics, it's not hard to feel a tad squeamish when looking at it, and that definitely takes the cake when it comes to being the ugliest. Alright, there we have it, friends. So tell me, which of these characters do you feel is by far the most unfortunate for your eyeballs? Which of these numbers on this list do you disagree with? Give us a shout about all of your thoughts and feels in those comments below. If you dug this video, hit those like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already, and make sure you check out some of the other gaming videos we have on our channel, which contains a lot of Sonic, but also a lot of not Sonic, so there's something for everyone. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Catch you all in the next video.